Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever this is finding you, it is meant to find you. Thank you for showing up in my corner of the world where we pull messages from the universe. So, before I begin, I do want to let you know when I channel directly from my higher self. That's where I get my messages from. And by you being here to watch this video, your higher self is in communication with my higher self, giving me answers to pull through. So, everything that I tell you is things you already know on a very, very deep level. I'm just here to give you clarification, encouragement, and support. Okay? All right. So, let's see for today. I think I want to start off with my Archangels Oracle deck. This was my first deck. I was gifted my first deck, and this was it. And of course, I have many other decks now, but I certainly still love this one a lot. So let's just get some theme cards and see what we're working with here. I invite you to take a deep breath with me as well. All right. All right, higher self, what do we have? What do you have for us today? Oh. Courage, Archangel Ariel. Be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. Love that. Love that. Overcoming difficulties. Of course, I'm loving this one. I'm like, yeah. Archangel Jeremiel. If I don't pronounce it correctly, forgive me. The worst is now behind you, and you are surmounting any previous challenges. I love that. We're going to dive into all these. Pull me one more. You know what to do, Archangel Uriel. Trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. Okay, so let's dive into this. We have courage, overcoming difficulties. You know what to do. I feel like just even from this setup that we have right this second, which is just the theme cards, that I feel like you've been doing this a long time. We're touching on something that you've been doing for a long time. And now you're finally on the other side of that. You're beginning to, like, I'm seeing like coming up to the top of the mountain where you can finally like, wow, you know? And then you kind of take that in for a little bit before it's like, okay, now I know what I need to do. Now I know where to go. Like now I know, oh, okay, that's over there. This is over here. Like you're seeing things from a more elevated perspective because you've been on this journey. You've been on this road, right? Okay, let's clarify. Okay, tell me about this courage. Tell me about this courage. Interesting, the Emperor. I feel like you had to learn how to respect yourself. And the way that you do that, though, is by navigating the relationships in your life, right? When you learn to instill healthy boundaries for yourself, when you learn to say, hey, this doesn't work for me, or this does work for me, or, that's instilling healthy boundaries, and you're teaching others as well. Like, no, this is what works with me, and this is what doesn't work with me. And then having this courage, that can be a really difficult thing to do. It can be a very difficult thing to do, especially, when it comes to work, when it comes to family, when it comes to relationships. I mean, these are all people that we're emotionally connected with, that we're dealing with on a regular basis. And to have to turn around and say, hey, you know what, this doesn't work for me anymore. Hey, you know what, I'm not participating in that because it's not good. Holding that space for yourself to change, that can be very difficult, especially in a society that says, we're going to stick you right here and there's no movement or change that's going to happen, it becomes your responsibility to break free of that cage. And that's why this courage card is coming out. You can see the lions back here. It's almost like taming the lion, right? It's like finally being at a spot where it's like, I have jumped from job to job to job, or from an old relationship, or from old friendships, or whatever that looks like to you. You have stepped forward and been like, I respect myself, and everybody else around me is going to respect me. I'm done being pushed in the back. I'm done being swept under the carpet. I'm done acting like this works when it doesn't, because that's not respecting yourself, right? So this energy is about respecting yourself and making the moves you need to make that tell the world and whoever you're around, I respect myself. I respect my lifestyle. I respect myself. And that's what I'm creating for myself. It's a very courageous thing to do. I feel like I want to tell you that you're heard. I feel like I want to tell you that you're being acknowledged for this. I feel like you're gaining your wings, right? Like that's how I feel. There's also some type of idea. There's a motive behind this. There's something that you want to create. There's a part of yourself that you know, and you're aware that it's there. And now it's just like making that space to bring it up and bring it out. Because the Emperor is also all about like preparation, preparing for something to kind of birth, to come out, to taking steps towards something new, something that you love. Tell me about this overcoming difficulties. Tell me about this overcoming difficulties. Oh, Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so what I want to tell you about this is that 7 to me is life mission. It's inner wisdom, inner instinct, inner guidance system. What you wanted to experience. Pentacles, here, earthly, something you can touch, a tangible experience. So to me, the 7 of Pentacles is about wanting this experience. Now you have to remember, when we're channeling from our higher selves, it's a different perspective. Our perspective down here is very 3-dimensional, maybe 5-dimensional if you're into this type of work. But majority of us are conditioned to think in a 3-dimensional way. In other words, life is hard, right? We don't think about it from the perspective of, I'm in body form, I can taste, I can touch, I can sing, I can smell. We don't think about it like that because we've been conditioned to focus on the negative, but we don't have to do that. Right? There are freedoms that are still in our control, one of them being our perspective. So remember, when you're down here, bring it back to your 5 senses, right? Sit out in the sunlight and just feel the sun on your face. I mean, to be in a body form and be able to sit outside and smell the flowers and feel the sun, there's magic in that if you decide to see it that way, right? And that's the beauty of perspective. Is that at any given moment, you could use perspective to your advantage to help you move forward. So when you bring yourself back to this, okay, I'm here because I wanted to experience life in a body form, and I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm breathing, I'm eating, I'm smelling, I'm going to be okay, right? When you bring it back to that, it's like you're going to be okay, overcoming these difficulties, right? And I think you have to go through that really, really dark, deep chapter to get to that realization that, like, I don't have to think the way that I've been told I need to think. I can pick another perspective. I can pick an elevated perspective that supports my growth, that makes me feel good about being alive, not stressed out, right? So whatever you're going through, know that on a higher platform, you wanted to experience it in some way, shape, or form. You wanted to have this experience in this form at this time. All right, tell me about this. You know what to do. Two of them came. Oh, look at that. Ace of Swords and the Chariot in reverse. Okay, so kind of like I said earlier, and it's kind of interesting because in the overcoming difficulties, it's like there's a mountain back here, right? And the feeling that I'm getting is that like you're at the top of the mountain And you're in a spot now where it's like, wow, okay, I get it. And now you can see things from another level, another perspective. Your awareness has expanded. Your awareness has expanded. You're aware of things you weren't aware of before. So now we're at the top of this mountain. We're looking over. We're beginning to understand what life actually is, right? And now we know what we need to do because we're looking out over this mountain and we're like, okay, that's where I want to go. From there, I'm going to have to go over here. Okay, but now you're kind of mapping it out. You're gaining some momentum. You're aware of the steps you have to take. The Ace of Swords, decisions, right? You're aware of the steps you're going to have to take. Whatever these decisions are that you're going to have to make, either you haven't made them yet, and that's why the Chariot's in reverse, or it's not time to make them yet, or it's just beginning to be time to make them. You'll know how it resonates with you. We'll also clarify before we end it here. But with the Chariot in reverse, there's something stuck. There's decisions that need to be made, and I feel like you think they're not being made or it's not time to make them yet. Let's dive in and find that out. The Ace of Swords is very like, whatever you need to do it. Call your guidance system in and run with unwavering faith because you are supported, you are capable, and this is your test. Okay? Let's dive in a little bit more. I'm curious to find out why that Chariot's in reverse. Okay, let's go back from left to right though, right? So we have courage and Emperor, gaining respect for yourself. Being like, no, I'm worth more. I'm worth more. And making sure that your actions reflect that. Tell me about the Emperor and courage. Oh, so many. So many. Guys. The Sun. And it did come out in reverse. But what did I say? You're building something. The Emperor isn't the king, right? He's making his way there, though. This is a process. This is remembering the king and queen that you are within yourself. So this is a process. This goal that you're trying to achieve, the reason this is coming out, though, is they're letting you know it is on the board. It's here. It's here. Look at that. Right? Look at that. So it's here. The reason it's coming out in reverse is just because you're still in this learning stage. You're still learning how to love yourself. You're still stepping into some fears and you're still clearing out some old energy, as we all are, right? And then as you understand how this works, you kind of hop off the karmic wheel because you start understanding how to navigate relationships in your life. So when someone throws a dart at you, instead of throwing a dart back, it's kind of like, I'm going to send you a prayer and I'm going to keep moving because I'm done with that. Right? So it becomes this shedding cycle where you shed the old skin, right? That's basically it for this one. I just really feel like you're bringing something out of you that has been kind of hidden and locked away for a long time. And I think there's a little bit of grief in that because it's painful to see some of the things that we've locked away and that we've allowed to be locked away. And that's why the Sun's in reverse as well, is that there's kind of a grieving process as well. Because we have to be very real about the decisions we've made and the way we've allowed other people to come into our energy field and affect our life, right? We allowed other people to tell us we weren't powerful. And it's not as much sad that the other people told us. Like, yes, of course, it's sad that society says, hey, we're not really worth it. But it's more sad that we believed it and that we allowed ourselves to move based off of what we were told, which wasn't accurate, right? So there's a grieving process in that. And that's why the Sun's coming out in reverse. You have to illuminate all the darkest areas of yourself. You have to bring the sunlight in at all the darkest areas of yourself. This is going to help you to create whatever this goal is that you're trying to create. Remember, be courageous, all right? You are loved and supported beyond knowing. Trust me, beyond knowing. All right. But the Sun being out here, though, I mean, what you want and what you're trying to achieve is here. It's on the board. The energy is here. We're just still working through a process. Okay. Overcoming difficulties. 7 of Pentacles. Tell me about it. Oh, so many. Are you connected? Because channel, talk to your higher self, because you got lots to say today. Tell me about the 7 of Pentacles. There it is. Aha, 4 of Wands. It did come out in reverse. So whatever the goal is, again, you're trying to create. You're not quite there yet, but you wanted to have this experience of creating it. It's a process, right? It's a process. There's no way around it. It's a process. And that's why I like to always say, bring it back to your 5 senses, because that helps you with the process. We tend to always be like, I just want the process to be over. But then it's like, you know, you become somebody different in the process. And the goal is experienced differently when you kind of bypass the process versus when you actively participate in the process. You experience the end goal differently. And trust me, it is much more fun when you are awake and aware of what life is and how to maneuver and how to play with energy and create the life that you want. Not just like, oh, I need money to have the life I want. No, you don't. You need to have that belief in yourself that you're capable of co-creating and manifesting whatever lifestyle you would like to live. You're capable of doing that. And so that process is really, really, really important, especially from a soul perspective. Again, from this perspective, we're like, but from a soul perspective, we're like, look at us go. Look at us down there, you know, like, wow, your higher self is just like, wow, you know, I am overcoming all this stuff. I am stretching on a huge soul level. Oh, this is just fantastic, right? So you have to keep that in mind. Remember, when you're working with your higher self, you're calling in a higher perspective, something that says you're right where you're supposed to be, and life is magical. Find the magic in it and stay at that vibration, and you'll really kind of find yourself already at your end goal once you really tap into that energy, and then things around you begin to manifest quickly. You got to put yourself there ahead of time. But how would you know that without going through the process? Right? So with this process, you're kind of stripped of your old belief, and then you're forced to implement a new belief. And this new belief is going to serve you and your future experiences. Okay? The beautiful thing about all this, though, is the fact that we have the Sun and the 4 of Wands in reverse, which means you're still creating, but they're here. They're on the board. The energies are here. So you're at the tail end of this. This is not a matter of like, oh, you got years to go. Like, this is a matter of stay focused and keep moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, let's dive into this. You know what to do, right? Ace of Swords, Chariot in reverse. Curious. So you know what to do, but there's a block somewhere. So let's find out. I feel like we're at the top of the mountain looking down and you're like, okay, that's where I need to go. But there's like some type of hesitance. Tell me about this. Tell me about this. You know what to do in Ace of Swords. Oh, right. There's a hesitance. What did I say? Death. Okay, so there's some type of fear in the way of what you're trying to do. Okay, I feel like we're at the top of the mountain. We're looking down at the goal. We know where we need to go, but we can see that there's a block like halfway, right? Like we're going to come up against something that is like, oh man, in order to get there, I got to go through that, you know? And that's why the Chariot's in reverse. There's something that you can feel or see. There's something that you know you're going to have to do that's going to make you very vulnerable. Really stepping out of your comfort zone, really having a lot of faith in where you're going. I feel like there's one more battle You're like, and it's funny because I feel like it's just like you're up at the top of the hill and you're like, are you kidding me? It's like I have been through this. I've been through so many things throughout my entire life. And here I am at the top of the hill finally, but there's one more battle. There's one more something that you have to go through. But I also feel like that's a lot why I'm bringing in the energies of the five senses. I personally am big on that because that has really helped me move forward. Like when I'm stressed out, I'm like, hold on, bring it back, right? Let me go get my favorite candy bar. Let me get some ice cream, maybe, let me get some apple. Let me get an apple or an orange. Let me just sit outside and just hone in on the beauties of life, right? Because that will help bring your energy back, especially when you're up against some type of, so death to me is obviously clearing out of the old, but it would be some type of fear. There's some type of fear that is still around, right? And you know that you have to march into this. You know that you have to face these fears. So sorry. You know that you have to face these fears. Tell me about the Chariot. Page of Wands. Yeah, preparing. Okay, so, this is so great. All right. So, you know what to do. You're looking down. You're on your path. You know where you're going. You know what needs to be done. Okay, Ace of Swords. Make these decisions. Put a closure on the things that do not serve you. Close them out, right? Face those fears. If you're nervous about starting a YouTube channel, show up every day. It doesn't even matter what the videos look like, right? Just show up every day. If you're nervous about a job or an opportunity, take the leap of faith, right? Take the leap of faith. This is not about following what your eyes tell you. This is about following what your instincts tell you, right? As you're doing this work, as you're facing these fears, as you're bringing yourself back to your five senses, and then you're going, another mile, and then you're bringing yourself back, and then you're going another mile, right? And then you're honing in, like just one foot in front of the other. This doesn't have to be like a charge into whatever the fear is, unless that resonates with you. But you can easily make it through this. You've been through worse, and you have to keep that in mind. I feel that here. You've been through worse. You can do this. Whatever this is, you can do it. You can do it, right? That's it. You can do this. I can do this. I am doing this. I am doing this. I am doing this. Right? Now, as you're thinking these things, right? Your thoughts create your reality. So really what you're actually up against is the thoughts. So as you're reprogramming your mind to say, I am doing this, I am doing this, I can do this, I'm here, I'm doing this, right? As you're reprogramming your mind, what's happening, Page of Wands, is you're affecting the energy field around you. You are preparing for what you're trying to achieve, okay? So the work that you're doing here with this death and this Ace of Swords and these decisions that you're making by facing these fears, by moving head on. And again, it doesn't have to be like everything in one day, but every day do one thing that takes you a little closer to that goal, right? That's it. Do one thing that takes you a little bit closer to that goal. And as you do that, the energy begins shifting around you. And before you know it, you create this forward movement. But as right now, it's just important for you to just take those steps. Show up to the table every day, right? Just make sure every day you're putting something toward what your goal is. And what that's doing is that is helping to prepare. Page to me is all about preparation. Whereas like the knight is like on its way taking action. The page to me is like laying out the map, placing things out, planning things out, making sure I know where I'm going, throwing everything in the bag, making sure the lights are shut off and the door is locked when I'm leaving. That is the page. It's preparation. Wands, very spiritual. So the energy field, what you want and what you're trying to accomplish spiritually is beginning to move as you start showing up every day, right? And I feel like with this Chariot in reverse is that like you're just at the top of the hill still contemplating, how am I going to do this? And it's like you don't need to know how. That's the other reason the Chariot's in reverse. You don't need to know how. That's a part of this process. Surrendering the how and allowing co-creation at its finest, right? Surrender the how. You don't have to know how it's going to happen. All you need to do is take one step. And then tomorrow, take another step. And then the next day, take another step, right? There are too many things going on that the universe is working on that end of the spectrum. How could you possibly know what's going to happen, right? It's not your job to know how you're going to create this next manifestation or this next goal or this next experience. So let go of the how. Surrender the how. That's what the Chariot in reverse and the Page of Wands is saying. Surrender the how. Let go of it. You don't need to know how it's going to move forward. All you need to do is surrender it, let it go, and trust that what's happening here is very, very, very beautiful. You are preparing for something really big. So I'm just going to pull two of the from the Goddess deck to wrap up here. Oh, look. Guys, leap of faith. Leap of faith. You can't make it up, right? Look at that. Take a risk. Put your heart's true desires into action. Leap of faith. Can you see it? I know this isn't the best camera in the world. But it's a camera. I'm showing up to the table, right? That's it. We're all in it together right now, okay? All right. Give me one more from this Goddess deck. We all are gods and goddesses within. It's a beautiful thing. Give me one more. Give me one more. Don't back down. Notice all the blue. This is all communication. Stand up for what you believe is right. Look, you got to honor this inner instinct. She's literally holding a flame right around her heart. There's a reason you feel the way you feel. Your instincts are not just like, oh, I guess whatever instincts, like, no. They're real and they're powerful and they're purposeful. And you need to follow that instinct. Follow that flame. You're only alive here now, right? Like for this incarnation anyway. Be here, be present, master this. We're on a ball floating in space. You are magical. You are magical beyond your means. Don't let the mind get in the way, right? Don't let the mind get in the way. We're going to pull one more and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, one last. That one flew. When they fly like that, to me, it means right now. Diving in. Oh, guys. Believe. Number 4, security, stability, foundation. Where does your security come from? We've been conditioned to think it's something outside of us. I'm not secure if I don't have money. I'm not secure if I don't have a job. I'm not secure if I don't have my family exactly the way I want them to be. Let all of it go. Your safety is here, and it's within that connection between you and Source. Believe in that. Trust in that. All is well. All right? Keep doing what you're doing, one foot in front of the other. Remember, you've been through this. You have surpassed the most difficult part. All right? You're well equipped for this. You are designed for this, and from a higher perspective, you wanted this experience. So you're going to knock this out. You're going to clear out whatever this is. And in the meantime, you're moving the energy around in the higher realms, preparing to manifest your desires. This is incredible. I'm so excited for you. I feel so excited. So this is so great. So keep me posted. Let me know if this resonates with you. If you're interested in a reading, I'll leave all the information below. But believe, guys. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. Thanks for believing in me. So I love you guys. And I'll see you later this week for your next reading. Okay. Love you guys.